Okay, after your Clouser minnow is complete, all the tying steps are all done in it, I like to protect the eyes and also glue the eyes fast to the hook shank. In a lot of instances, when you're epoxying flies, what I've seen a lot of mistakes in tying this minnow is that they tie the head tight against these eyes. And when that tying thread forces itself back against here, it will close up this gap that you can now see in the fly. And that gap is left there so the epoxy soaks in underneath those eyes and gets onto the hook shank. If you just coat the whole head with epoxy without having epoxy going to the hook shank, you can take literally and turn the head around itself. The first thing that I do, of course, is I have the epoxy mixed, and I'm going to take and run a little bead right over the tying threads itself. And then I'm going to run the bead of the epoxy over top of the material down in back of the eye on the threads. Then I'm going to take another swipe of epoxy, and I'm going to drop it on the eye and force it in the groove in front of the eye. Then I'm going to do the other side here. You'll be able to see that I go over top of the eye and force it into the open groove in front of the eye. Now I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to rub the epoxy over top of the tying threads. You can see this whole entire tying, the place that we all tied down on the hook, is now coated with epoxy. And then, of course, this is 30-minute epoxy we're using, so we're going to have to take the fly and put it on a turning wheel. While it's turning, it'll keep itself nice and smooth. There'll be no lumps on the finished fly.